Padel is officially the second fastest growing sport in the world. Over 70,000 padel courts worldwide, 900 of those in the UK across 300 venues. The padel industry in Europe is worth an estimated 6 billion. Over 30 million players worldwide, 400,000 of those being in the UK. Welcome to the Fit Dads podcast. My name is Ryan Dutton. I'm joined by Brad Thompson and Alex Fleming today from Padel Sheffield. We want to pick your brains on a few things around padel, essentially. Yeah. It's obviously one of the biggest growing sports globally, I think, right now. I'm going to throw a few stats at you. We've done a little bit of research and homework today. Okay. Padel is officially the second fastest growing sport in the world. Over 70,000 padel courts worldwide, 900 of those in the UK across 300 venues. The padel industry in Europe is worth an estimated 6 billion. That blows my mind. Yeah. Absolutely nuts. Over 30 million players worldwide, 400,000 of those being in the UK. Considering it had only 3 million players when it was organised back in 2010, this is a massively rapidly growing sport which is not showing any signs of stopping.
No. Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, I think it was late 60s the sport was created in South America. But I'd say it's only really been the last 4 or 5 years in the UK that it's just boomed. Probably most recently in the last year. There was a handful of courts a few years ago, and yeah, it's just trying to find the gaps now where they aren't, and that's where we come in, trying to open some more places for people to play.
What do you think brought on that boom in popularity? Because I know you said it's been going for since the 60s.
Yeah, since the late 60s, but I mean, like literally in the UK, it's probably the last 10 years, but last 2 or 3 years where it's really rocketed. I think influencers, celebrities, sports people, musicians getting into it's a big thing. A lot of celebrities are investing, which has really grown the profile of the game. But I just think the exposure to it and people getting a racket in the hand for the first time is what's grown it so much, because it is so addictive. It's so easy to play from a beginner's level. And 4 mates can grab a racket, have a game, and albeit they won't be scoring or playing the rules properly, probably in the first 1 or 2 games, it's a laugh. The underarm serve's a massive factor for that. Like tennis is very technical. You've got to be really good. You've got to have lessons. Padel, you can just pick it up, watch a bit of YouTube, figure out the rules, and 4 mates just be off and having a laugh straight away.
I've heard that you can fit 3 padel courts inside a tennis court.
Yeah, is that true? To a certain extent, yeah. I think building control will have a word about it because of the walkways around. You've got to get the walkways for fire escape routes. But in essence, a padel court's 20 by 10 metres and the tennis court's about 30 by 20. So you can...
It's not far off.
Yeah, pretty much. So you see some tennis clubs, local clubs and sports clubs putting padel courts on existing tennis club courts. There's a certain amount of capital that you've got to put up front towards it, obviously, to build them, but the demand's there and the supply's not there to have the occupancy rate so high. And you're seeing that in the way that operators are popping up all over the place, similar to ourselves a year ago, trying to get padel into communities as quickly as possible. So that's the stage that we're at. We've got 1 venue at the moment in Sheffield and looking to expand 2 or 3 in the next year. So
amazing. I think it's one of those sports where, and I was going to chat with someone this week actually, it was like it's a low risk to reward ratio with padel. It's a bit like golf, guys stop playing football because they're pulling hammies, their Achilles are going. Yeah. I think padel's in that same bracket where it's not as strenuous as like tennis or other high impact sports.
That's the thing. It's so, you can play at whatever pace you want to play. So if you want to have a highly competitive game with your mates, you can. But if you're all just beginners, you're all at the same kind of level. There's people that we've had in that hated PE at school, have never really been into sports at all the way through to Olympians, professional athletes that are still playing their sport. It's just so easy to get into, and you can get injured, don't get me wrong, but it depends how hard you want to play. We've had 3 generations on a court with grandparents, grandkids, parents, and that's the most rewarding thing I think I've taken from it so far, is just seeing absolutely any age, any ability, any experience can play and have fun straight from the bat.
That must be really nice to see that kind of generational influence and something that everyone can play, because there's not many sports like that, whether it's, pool, darts maybe, but how popular those are sports. Can padel get on the same level as those? Can it reach those kind of heights where, every city's got one, if not 2 or 3 venues every city?
I think there will be. I think Sheffield's a couple of years behind your Manchester's, but Manchester will have something like 20 clubs already, and it's arguably at the point of saturation. I don't think it will be, because all their occupancies will still be high, but Sheffield's definitely going to catch up in that essence. Leeds has still only got a handful in the city centre. There's only really one, albeit they've got 12 courts, but in the north of England, it's big in London. Bristol is like the kind of the heartbeat of paddle at the moment. There's 4 or 5 huge centres down there. But you only need to look on the planning portals to see how many courts and clubs are in planning to be developed in the next couple of years. So
you can view all that online, can you? How many courts are up and coming?
Yeah, you can see how many applications are in for planning and stuff and where they are. So it gives you a bit of an insight. But Sheffield's catching up, and it's where the 5 of us all grew up playing sports and grew up as children, and which wanted it to be our first one, and there was none here, so we're still the only one in South Yorkshire, which baffles me, but I know we won't be in about a year. There'll be loads, I can imagine.
Exactly. I mean, to piggyback on that, you mentioned from friends to founders, what did that process look like, setting it up with the lads, and who are the other lads?
It was really good. I mean, we've all got one interest, and that was bring paddle to our community, because we were playing in Manchester, Leeds, Derby, wherever the nearest place was, and we said, my first time playing, I said, right, I can't wait to get home and play this again, and looked, and there wasn't anywhere to play, so the first instance was to get somewhere where we can play, and then that suddenly turned into a business model, and then that turned into shareholders agreements and a lease, and suddenly we've got a venue and finally some courts for ourselves to play at home.
How quickly did that move from you first getting into it and being like, I really like this as a sport, to being like, I actually want to open a court now?
Genuinely, after the first time I played was when I started looking into it, doing lots of market research on courts, costs, venues, speaking to agents, putting a business plan together. Generally within 24 hours of playing for the first time. Wow. We sat down and said, right, this has got to be worth looking at. We knew with those very small early murmurs, this was 2.5 years ago, so we could see that paddle was an opportunity, and the fact that there was nowhere to play in South Yorkshire, we knew that was a gap in the market. And it just took 2 years to get through legals and all that kind of design and construction to get it open, but we're still the only one, which blows my mind. But yeah, we've set the standard now in South Yorkshire for sure.
I think whoever strikes first is usually the one that takes home the kind of biggest reward, essentially. And I think the fact you've got in there first definitely puts you in good stead. It's almost like I sort of told you before the podcast, my social media is just constantly full of people playing at Sheffield, and that brand as well, Play, is going to hopefully grow and grow as your venues grow, and that name's going to get recognised, and people will look for that in the paddle world, hopefully.
Yeah, definitely. It's a repeatable model. Play Padel Sheffield, it can be Play Padel Leeds, Newcastle, Liverpool, wherever. But yeah, it was a big gap where we were, and hopefully going to get some more open soon.
Have you always had that in you, like that entrepreneurial, business-minded?
I think so. I think so. I'm quite modest, and without wanting to sound arrogant, I don't like the phrase entrepreneur or CEO or all that kind of stuff. It's just I'm a doer, so I just think if there's something that can be done, let's do it, which is quite cool. The other lads are all so involved, and everyone's got different strings to the bow, which helps as well. So they're all really involved, and commercially through to operationally, and putting a good soundboard for me to bounce ideas from. So yeah, it's a good teamwork so far.
Brad touched on other investors. Who are your other investors?
So we've got Joe Root, England cricketer, Cameron Dawson, who was at Wednesday and is now at Rotherham United, footballer. Wow. Harry Bliss, who's done really well in the wellbeing and mental health space and tech world. And then Chris Millard, who is the MD at the Barmy Army, which is like a cricket touring group. Really successful. He's really, really bright, and again, really good soundboard commercially to bounce ideas off.
Well, I feel like I'd love to be a fly on the wall when you all sat around with a pint and said, lads, you know what we need to do? We need to open paddle. Were there any apprehension, or were you all very much singing from the same hymn sheet?
That was it. Really, we're singing from the same hymn sheet from the start. Put the business plan together, put it to the lads, and said, look, this is how we're going to do it. Obviously, it evolves every day, the business, even now, it has through the initial kind of conversations, but we've been open 4 months, and we've had a couple of official board meetings, which are very relaxed. It doesn't sound as formal as you think, but yeah, we've got a really good relationship to jump from friends to business and put our business heads on and get through the important stuff. And then, but to be fair, the lads are great, and they kind of got the trust there of we'll make the right decision, and I don't bother them with that, unless it's the big picture stuff really and strategy, but the little things they can kind of let me take the lead on. And but yeah, it's working well anyway so far.
I can't believe you've all been open 4 months.
I know.
Yeah. Really? Is it for only 4 months?
28th of March, yeah.
Was it? Wow. I feel like I've just... the amount of... I think it's been open forever.
Yeah.
The amount of posts I've seen online and people that have been going to it. I feel like the city's really embraced it. I feel like Sheffield's really been like, you know what, this is new, it's exciting, it seems fun, let's go for it.
I think that was the biggest apprehension, is that we're opening it in a market that it doesn't know paddle. Shout out to Ecclesall Tennis Club and Hallamshire Tennis Club. They had a court each prior to us. We're the first multi-court indoor venue, which is a kind of a pat on the back, but we started a community of paddle. There was a bit of it bubbling away with those guys playing already at their clubs, but we're just totally open, pay and play, no membership as well. But we had to just completely start the community ourselves, from the booking platform through to the rules of how to play paddle, community groups, tournaments, social groups and stuff. So I think that was probably the biggest apprehension and biggest challenge that we've had so far. But a month in from opening, we kind of knew that, right, we've done a good job there, and it runs itself now, which is good.
Amazing. At the risk of blowing too much smoke too early, credit to you guys. Ryan said it feels like it's been open a long time, and that's probably testament to, the I suppose the pre-launch sequence, if you like. You guys getting ready to launch, drumming up a lot of excitement, and I mean, I played it a couple of months ago now, and I just fell in love with it straight away. It's like you said, very accessible, addictive, and I can see why you got on board. It
was the one thing we said setting it up, was that what we were confident with is that once you've played once, you're dying to get back again and have another go. And the most frustrating thing at the minute is that we're from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m, 7 days a week, we're full, which is amazing. And I'd rather it be this way than the other, but people can't get a court as much as they want to.
Yeah.
People generally want to play once a week, once a day, but there's just that much demand there at the moment. We're just struggling to get people in, which is a good problem to have.
How far in advance are you booked up at the moment?
About 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
So yeah, the booking's open 2 weeks in advance, and then we've got a little subscription membership as well, which is you can book 3 weeks in advance. So we introduced that because we thought there'd be a kind of a core community that want to play every day or once a week, and then they can pay. It's £10 a month. You get 3 weeks in advance, and you can actually get 20% off your portion of the court as well.
Okay.
So it's a really, really great value for £10. But that 2 week period is just not. It just fills up. They open on the hour every hour the court. So at midday today, you can book in 2 weeks in advance at midday, and it just instantly blocks up, which is good. It's a clever system. But yeah, we just need more courts now.
Mm-hmm. That's not a bad problem to have, is it? Oversubscribed, and that's really cool.
It sounds like it's going even better than you guys had intended when you first maybe opened it. Did you expect to be this booked up?
I think it's what we hoped. I think expectation was probably a little bit lower, but I think that's just to be modest and say, right, what's kind of worst case? What do we need? What occupancy do we need to be at to break even? We were even looking at, but. Yeah, to be in the mid to high 90s occupancy from those 17 hours a day, it's really good. So, we're wanting to stay on the front foot and keep evolving and thinking new ideas, because we don't want to get stagnant and think, oh, this is easy, right, on to the next one. So we're constantly engaging, doing new events, social groups, beginners classes, all that still, because people still need to play for the first time. So we're still doing little initiatives like that, but we're not just a kind of a club that we never wanted to be just build some courts, build it and they will come. We always said we want, build a community, and it's such a buzzword in paddle, community, but it's so true to the success. We've got great little social space with good coffee, proper coffee machine, nice draft beer, Prosecco, bit of food from Coleman's Deli, which is a local deli to us. We want people to be there half an hour before, play for an hour, stay for an hour after, chat, exchange numbers, play with new people. It's not just in terms of playing with your same mates every week. You can do, but we want to break down the barrier of being nervous to play with new people. So we do lots of mixings, social mixings, coffee and paddle hours and stuff like that, where you get free coffee, and it's more than just court bookings. We want to do more on the social side and genuinely build a community.
I love that. I think that's a great idea, because I think a lot of people will maybe play with a group of mates to start with. They might go down with 2 or 3 of the mates, maybe 4. They'll fill out a court. Some of them might not be able to make it again, or might not enjoy it as much. You still want to keep going. You need to find new friends and new people to play with. So having that community there ready to go is really, really good.
So you'll see a lot of paddle clubs, and we've done it as well, where you set up a WhatsApp community where we've got like 7 different chats in it. So there's like a beginners, an intermediate, and an advanced. We've got a ladies only. We've got a 6 a.m. club one, a coaching one, and we encourage everyone to get in there, because, like you said, 4 mates to come in for the first time is great. But then when 2 or 3 of them can't make it next time, or I might want to go by myself at 2 p.m. on a Wednesday, my mates can't do that. So I'll book a court, put the link into the WhatsApp community and say, does anyone want to join? And they fill instantly, because people are, like I said, people are dying to play, but also people are now, the barriers are down, and they're happy to play with new people that they don't know, and it's really nice.
Amazing. I've always been obsessed with like that power of community. Have you got any core values that you really want your community members to embrace that you guys do? I know you said being open, being honest, being willing to meet new people.
Yeah, we've been really fortunate that we've not really come across any bad eggs or people that take themselves too seriously. Putting on the social events are a really good way of doing that, because we kind of try and put the 4 beginners on one court, the 4 advanced on one, and the 4 intermediates in the middle court, which kind of gets people playing with a similar standard. Because I think with like anything, if you're playing golf or tennis or football or whatever, 5-a-side, if there's one person that's unbelievable, it's not fun for anyone, because they'll just run rings around you. But if there's also equally one person that's maybe a complete beginner, it's not as fun for anyone as well. So trying to place people with the same kind of quality of player is a big thing, because then it gets everyone comfortable. Often beginners, everyone's as nervous as each other. The coaching's a big thing. Doing the intro to paddle classes, it gets people mixing in with people that are as nervous, are as a beginner as each other. And then what we see is that they have a drink after, exchange numbers, and then they're booking a court themselves. And alongside our WhatsApp community, there's, I'm sure, hundreds of other individual private WhatsApp chats between mates and school friends and sports clubs that just throw in their games when they've booked and say, does anyone want to join? So WhatsApp's a massive thing for building that.
I love that.
Are you using the WhatsApp community feature where you've got different...
So we've got the Padel Sheffield WhatsApp community, and then, like I said, the 7 different chats in there for each different type of player or customer group in there as well. So
since we've got you on, can I use this platform to call a few people out?
Go for it.
So we've got Sam Newton, James Biggin and Pete Swats. They've all been to play Padel Sheffield, and me and Ryan have not had an invite yet.
No, Sam's down tonight.
Is Sam down tonight?
Yeah, so Sam started, so just before we opened, Sam started so Sam is Chris's accountant, business and personally. So we've known Sam a while, and Sam set up the Sheffield Business Paddle Network.
Amazing.
So that's a good plug for it. So that's really good. Lots of professionals in there, all sorts of business owners. People just work in business, you don't have to be a business owner. And today, funnily enough, tonight, they do like a monthly meetup. So they book out all the courts for 2 hours, and you book in, and so there's 12 players, and then you chop and change, and you have a network, you have a chit chat either side of it. So again, you're mixing that networking with paddle, and then that's a sub community within itself. So then they, in their own community chat on WhatsApp, they throw around bookings and mix in with each other as well. And I know Pete's been down a lot as well with his group as well, which is cool. So yeah, I'm sure there's always a game there for you.
I think they're scared of Ryan, I'm not going to lie. It's untapped potential, Ryan. He's never played, but I'm telling you, when it happens...
I'll be honest, lads, my hand-to-eye coordination has never been amazing. I was always foot-to-eye. That was always my thing.
Do you know what, though? The best thing that we've seen is that it's humbling to so many people. You get people like yourself that are athletic and fit and are good at every sport, but then they come down and see them struggle, which sounds a bit horrible, but seeing them like not be good at it straight away. You know, we've had Olympians through to, like I said, people that hate PE at school, and everyone's on a level playing field. Yeah. You get the people that have played tennis or squash, and they've kind of got a bit of a head start on people, but it is just a level playing ground from the start, and it's just, it's good fun. It's humbling.
Yeah. I've got a bit of I say an indulgent question. It's a bit of a, metaphysical question, if you like. If you could have a dream paddle team, who would you have? I know you said Olympians you've had a fair few pro athletes in there. Who's the dream paddle team?
Oh, God. The five of us, the five owners. We've had some good sessions between the five of us, chopping and changing. I take the spot for 5th place, I think, in terms of quality of paddle player, just being humble. But yeah, all the other 4 lads are unbelievable. They're all-round sportsmen. Chris was always good at everything at school in PE, always like top of the class in every discipline. Harry's unbelievable, great at every sport as well, and then Cam and Ruti as well, being athletic. They're all unbelievably good. So yeah, I'm often on the sideline watching.
How often are they down at the club playing?
Yeah, lots. Yeah, so Chris comes down Tuesday nights after work. So obviously Chris is still full time, got running businesses and stuff, and he's just got married as well, so he's got a lot on his plate. But once a week, Cam drops in pretty much every day after training for his post-training coffee on the way home, which is nice.
Brilliant.
Harry, once a week at least as well, and then Joe as well around his schedule as well. So he's only up the road where he lives, so he's dropping in and out every other week. So yeah, it's good.
Mega.
Love that.
One question I wanted to ask, and it's something that I think people get a lot confused by, is the difference between pickleball and paddle. And when I first heard about paddle coming to the UK and people playing this paddle, I just assumed it was this pickleball thing that I'd heard from a few years ago.
Yeah.
But after doing a bit of research, it's not the same, is it?
No, so pickleball's massive in the States. It's basically a badminton court with a lower net. Personally, I've never played it. It gets a bit of a bad rep, but I won't comment on it because I've never played it. But yeah, they say it's a bit more of a senior sport, but it looks good fun. But no, it's slightly different. Obviously, paddle's surrounded by glass and cage walls up to 3 and 4 metres. It's more of a tennis ball and a paddle racket. And pickleball's more of just like a bat and a hollow ball, and it's a bit more fast-paced and a bit less movement, I think, from the player. But yeah, it's a bit more hand-eye as well, I think. So yeah, it's a bit different, but no, I never played it.
Yeah, it's just I just assumed it was the same thing, but well, I guess surprised to hear it wasn't the same thing in a way. Any more questions for Alex?
I suppose we mentioned like the dream team. Is there anyone who you'd love to? Cause for me, Arnie. I'd love to see Arnie on a paddle court. I'm not going to lie. I just think something grunted would be fantastic. Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'd love to see Arnie on there.
I think at his age now, I think he's probably a little bit faster. I can't imagine him doing.
I'd jump on a court with him. I wouldn't mind. Is there anyone like that where you think, they'd be an absolute dream? I'd be starstruck by that one playing paddle.
Well, I don't know. So Jess Ennis plays once a week at least. She's amazing. Again, never played before we opened, so came down on the first day we opened at, I think it was 9 a.m, like one of the first few bookings we had, which was amazing. I grew up a Sheffield United fan, which was, we've seen quite a few of their lads down. Billy Sharp, I'm playing with him again today, actually, funnily enough. He loves it. Again, never played before we opened. Yeah, we get lots of sports people down, celebs and stuff like that. Alex Turner from the Arctic Monkeys be quite good.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah. Music.
Yeah.
I don't know now.
Do you see their names crop up on the bookings and go, hello, what's this?
Do you know what? The first week I probably did, and I was looking like, but more of just who do I know from school, or I've seen so many people from school and old connections that I've not spoken to in a decade, and then you see them, you thought, I'll hang around for them and make sure I see them, which is nice. But no, it's, again, I don't want to repeat it, but because of that full, you kind of can't keep an eye on everyone that's playing. I keep missing people. So it's amazing. We've had Kyle Walker was down a couple of weeks ago. Lots of cool people, which is really good.
And again, I think with it being a low risk sport, you probably, you're not going to get like clubs or professional sports teams not wanting their players to do it, for example. No. I think the same with golf. That's why most clubs don't mind their players playing golf. Same with paddle, I would assume.
Yeah, I think so. But Billy was saying, actually, it's really interesting how similar the movement is, because it's not like just plodding along jogging. It's quite short and sharp and turning. It's quite actually good for your footballers. But no, it's not too strenuous on the body. I mean, you do burn 400 to 500 calories in an hour of playing, which is really good. So you see people coming off dripping and sweating and loving it. So that's the best thing I've seen, is people come in for the first time dead nervous, quite intimidating. The main thing the whole staff training process, the big talking point was zero intimidation. I've said those two words hundreds of times in the first few weeks, and because we wanted it all ages, all people, all abilities welcome in, and we just want people to feel as comfortable as possible. But that's kind of the motto that we've gone with from the start.
Amazing. I really want to pick up on a word there, which is play.
Yeah.
And obviously we're all parents sat around this table right now, and I honestly believe that a lot of adults don't play anymore.
No.
Unless they're playing with the kids, they never really spend any time playing anything for himself, whether that's with their friends. Have you found that? Have you found a lot of parents coming through the door?
Massively, yeah. And I think it's just a good release. And I think the beautiful thing is that it's only an hour. It can be 90 minutes. You can book as long as you want, but it's an hour out of the house, albeit if you want to come for a coffee or a drink after, then it's a bit longer, but it's a release. It's a short, sharp burst. And we've seen people, we've done really well with the 6 a.m. slots. So we open from 6 a.m. And we've kind of said that, like, we've seen so many people that hate going to the gym at 6 o'clock, working up before work, and they come and play paddle instead. It's an hour of a burst of fun. It's not monotonous kind of, and I'm speaking to guys that work in that space, but it's a short, sharp, it's a game, it's fun, it's social, and it's still good for you physically and mentally as well. So, yeah, it's nice to see literally every demographic and age come through the door and find a purpose and enjoy it as well. It's really nice.
I think it's just another kind of like string to people's bows as well. Like, they might have tried the gym, they might have tried running, they might have tried a multitude of different things and just not got on with them. And this is just another thing they can go and potentially try that gives them instantly as well, like a bit of a community. Because you can go to the gym and you're kind of there by yourself. And when you go to a class, you're kind of in it on your own program, doing your own thing, wandering around. This is straight into a court with some other people, whether you know them or not. And that zero intimidation approach as well is really good because it's making it non-clicky. It's making it like everyone's welcome, no matter your standard ability. Do you think that's trickier to maintain as it grows and as more people get of a better standard than the people coming through who are quite new then find it maybe a bit more difficult?
I think that's what we've seen is that, I mean, we kind of from the offset said, well, we're not going to be a competition venue, we're not going to do tournaments, but we quickly realised that a certain group of customer was kind of got over the beginner stage and was in the intermediate phase, and they could play, they knew the rules, they knew how to play, how to score and have a proper match, and they actually wanted that competitive edge. So we started doing a few tournaments, socially tournaments. There's a winner, but it's everyone mixes in, everyone plays with a different partner every game, and it's a real mixing feel. There's still there'll always be a demand for these intro to paddle classes and beginners. So like I said, it's not just from open to close, just general court bookings. Every day we do about 30 coaching classes a week, from beginners up to advanced now, and it's just about breaking down that barrier to give everyone a chance to play. So the beginner sessions, anyone can book onto them, anyone can book onto anyone, but there's always a space for every certain type of customer group to get in and get engaged with it.
Is there actually like a specific paddle qualification as well that the coaches go through?
Yeah, so the LTA, Lawn Tennis Association, the governing body for tennis, they've kind of taken the wheel with paddle. So we've put our coaches through the LTA qualification. But there's also a few other bodies out there that do coaching qualifications. We actually hosted one this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, the British Paddle Coaching Association, both Saturday and Sunday, 9 till 3, and they put 18 coaches through it this weekend. Wow. So there's loads of little bodies out there that can do the coaching qualification. So yeah, you've kind of got to know how to coach paddle as well. But as well, for the beginner classes, we always use the coaches, but we see a lot of networking groups and business exclusive hires and social team bonding sessions, and we always put a coach on with them because we're aware that a lot of people just might want to grab a racket and whack it and chase it, and which is fine, but then we always have a coach's court in these group bookings because a lot of people won't want to be or won't be confident enough to jump on court straight away, so it's a safe space for them to go learn the rules, learn the basics, learn how to serve, and then they're off and away. So
that's
it's
really
just
cool.
Creating the little spaces and opportunities for people to get into it.
I love that. And from a parenting point of view, it does let off a lot of steam. I mentioned that word play again. Aggression as well. I know it's not like you said, zero intimidation. Sometimes just smacking a ball as hard as you can with a paddle racket. I don't know if you see this a lot where the ball sits up and you think, I'm going to overhand smash this, and then it's gone to the moon. It's gone.
Yeah, it's a lot more touch and feel paddle compared to tennis, but it's just a good burst and it's a release for a lot of people, and you see that come in dead nervous for the first time, or they come in chill and quiet, and then they come off beaming, laughing, sweating, and it's the perfect recipe, I think, paddle, just for releasing energy. And like you said, compared to football or whatever your discipline or sport is, whether it's the gym or not, it's a good place to come, burst of energy, and be technical as well, and hand-eye coordination. It's good for your mind and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, I'm going to say you mentioned good for your mind. Sorry to cut you off, Ryan. I just want to touch on the mental health side of it as well, because I imagine the social side, I mentioned that blowing off some steam.
Yeah.
Have you ever looked into that in terms of the mental health effects that it's had on your community? And
I've not, no. So I think it's something that we want to do. We want to do some kind of case studies and research into it, because I can't help but think it must be. Like, humbly, I think it must have done so well for the community, just bringing people together and giving them that safe space to have a burst of energy, bring it in a community together, be welcome into it with open arms. We've got the rackets that you can hire, you don't need any equipment, so it's just a safe space. We've got everything you need. Come in, have a chit chat. The staff are all awesome, they're all super welcoming and happy to help, and it just brings people into a space that anyone's welcome, anyone can book and play. There's no barriers to get through, and just come and have some fun.
I think a really simple way of monitoring that would be just go into your WhatsApp group and put on a scale of 1 to 10, how much does this improve your mental health?
That's nice, yeah.
Just because you can get those polls, can't you?
Yeah.
And just get people to, and just see what it is. Some people might go, well, my mental health was pretty good anyway, I just joined this because I quite like the idea of it.
Yeah.
Some people might be like, no, you know what, this has revolutionised my fitness, my health, my mental health. Be really interesting to see those numbers.
It'd be nice. Definitely.
Yeah. It's one thing that I think me and Ryan both do an equal measure, where we might ask people who come in for sessions with us, how are you feeling today? And I had someone in Monday and they were like, 3 out of 10. Felt shocking, and they come in and just did an hour's worth of movement and they were 7 or 8 out of 10 in an hour. It's like, that's amazing. I guarantee it's going to play a really, really big part in people's mental health.
I agree. 100%. Yeah, it'd be lovely.
Just want to sort of dive into, I suppose, the entrepreneurial nature of yourself, Alex, as well. Like we spoke before we recorded about, I suppose, your past, what sort of got you to this point? Like where did that journey start for you?
So I went to university. I actually did golf at university, so kind of business management with an inkling to golf, which was quite good.
Why golf? Were you a golfer?
Grew up playing golf. I was always all right at it as well, which helped.
Did you want to go pro at any point?
No, I was never that good. I never really wanted to go into coaching either. It was more the business side of it. So when I met at the end of GCSEs, the person at school for the careers advisor said, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know if to go into like a BTEC or a trade or university. I don't know. I was always pretty academic and passed everything. And they said, what do you like? What's your favourite subject at school? And I said, business. And then they said, what do you like doing outside of school? And I said, golf. So he says, there's a golf business management degree. So I says, perfect. So I did that, went out and worked out in the Middle East and at golf resorts, and I ended up managing a golf and hotel club up in the northeast of England. And then that just kind of evolved into, I worked for American Golf, the retailer, in store management, and then they went into liquidation. So I kind of thought, oh God, right, okay. So I've kind of fallen out of love of golf a bit. Wasn't playing as much because it was kind of mixing business with pleasure, and finishing work, I didn't want to play, I just wanted to go home. And I actually went into construction management with estimating and quantity surveying, that kind of stuff. So I did a few years of doing that. And then just before about 2019, set up a business just selling football boots, like rare football boots, which was good fun, alongside estimating and construction. It was started off just on eBay, buying used pairs, cleaning them up, selling them. And then that evolved into a business, me and my wife, full-time. I'd finished estimating, full-time career, office space, selling hundreds of pairs of boots all over the world, to Champions League, through to grassroots, dealing with all the professionals. And that kind of gave me the insight of starting a business and scaling it through to, with the mixture of that, construction, hospitality and sport, it kind of all rolled into this opportunity where the lad said, you've kind of got a bit of a string in all of those bows, and take it into Padel and set the business up, operationally manage it, which we are doing now, and hospitality and sport and community and all that kind of stuff. It's all rolled into this, it's just perfect.
I'd agree with that. I think it is like that word, perfect. It's almost like it was the perfect opportunity for this sport to come into your life with all your experience and everything. And I love hearing stories like that. I've said it before, we spoke about people coming on this podcast and being like onions, you start peeling back those layers. And we just had that moment with you where we've peeled back those layers, and hearing those like little, I know you don't like the word entrepreneurial, but those little stories about people starting businesses and, you know, having an idea and being like, that's an old pair of boots, I reckon I could sell them for if I cleaned them up a little bit. And that just turned into a bigger scale business.
Well, it just started with, I had 2 pairs of boots in my garage that I'd used from when I was a kid pretty much. Cleaned them up, put them on eBay on an auction, and they just kept going and going and going. And I thought, oh, right, okay, there's clearly a market there for old Predators and Total 90s and all those kind of stuff. And then I think I got like 80 quid for both the pairs, and then put that 80 quid into 4 pairs, sold them, bought 8 pairs, sold them, bought 16, and suddenly I've got 500 pairs in stock in an office, and me and my wife full time with 2 kids doing this business. And that just showed that it's a lot of time, and it takes time. It wasn't a quick thing, but it's scaling a business and dealing with accounting through to marketing, social media, all that kind of stuff. Just set the foundations to be able to do it again, albeit on a bigger scale. But yeah, it just set the foundations to go.
I've got a mate, shout out to Tom Rainsford. He does exact. Do you know Rainer?
I saw him last week.
Did you?
Yeah.
So I went to uni with him, and he has got obviously retro football shirts, and he does exactly that. Just quit his job. He worked in marketing, I think, or something like that, and just decided one day, like, I like selling football shirts. Did it a little bit on the side, and then just one day, quit and went full time.
He's a lovely, lovely lad. He came in last week. He one of his mates is a big Doncaster fan, Doncaster Rovers, and sent in a shirt, and Billy signed it. So I gave it him when he came in last week.
Oh, nice.
Lovely fella, and it is something that can go from a side hustle, if you want to call it that, through to if it outweighs the income from your current job, then you think I can scale this even more. Then why not take the risk and do it properly and full time?
My little brother Billy loves football boots, so he's going to love this next question. Yeah. Have you got a favourite pair of football boots that you're almost reluctant when they were like, I don't want to sell these because I love them so much?
Adidas Predator Pulse 2004. I've still got a pair myself that I use and pull them out. But I think it was 2004, Gerrard, Lampard, Beckham. I think it was the Istanbul finals in 2005 against AC Milan. Gerrard was wearing them. So I'd have been like 10. So like the peak of when you're into football and loving it. So that's the one for me. Yeah,
and I know those exact boots. I remember when they first, because there was a few different variations that came out. They were like the premium ones, or the like, because they had the ones that would be like 30, 40 quid. You get the ones that were like 70, 80 quid, and you get the ones that were like 120 quid, and they were just the ones that were...
The ones with the 3 stripes loop round the bottom of the boot.
Yeah, that's right, they were underneath. Yeah,
they were the ones.
Yeah. I had some Nike Tiempos, the Ronaldinho ones. I used to love them. I mean, I was centre off, so it didn't really stand me in good stead. White and gold centre off.
Total 90s, early 2000s with Scholes and Rooney and all those guys wearing them.
What an era. I feel like I could sit here and just spout about that all day, but I'm sure his audience won't appreciate that.
Do you still do that? Is the football boot still going?
No, so it was March 23 we came up with a business idea for Padel, and about June 2023 we got actually an opportunity to open a site. So I sold all the boot stock to basically go gung-ho into Padel. Unfortunately, that site fell through, which was a great learning experience, not to proceed on anything until everything's over the line, pretty much. So, it was June 23 I stopped doing that, so it's been 2 years now. But I still get people coming in through the door and saying, I used to buy boots off you.
Really?
And, it's quite cool. So, some really good connections through that, and just massive life experiences with it all as well. I'm
going to ask you that as well about, you mentioned learning experiences there. Any big losses that you've taken that you go, I wish I could go back and change that, or maybe I'd have done things different if...
Do you know what you know now? We've actually talked about this quite a bit because we're looking to open more sites, and we're close to agreeing to open 2 more in the near future. What would we do differently? And I genuinely don't think there's much that we would do differently at all. I think it's going to be a totally different play because they'll be bigger, there'll be more courts, there'll be in areas that maybe we don't have the networks that we do around here, because we all grew up within a mile and a half of where we are now. So it's going to be a learning experience, but I don't think there's much that we do differently than what we've done so far.
It's probably a testament to how well it's gone first time round, I guess.
Yeah, we had lots of time to plan for it. So, I mean, like I said, it was June 23 that we started really pressing on with things. And So we had loads of time to plan, whether it was the fit out or staff and operations and the business plan. We could refine it all the time, but this one's going to be a bit more fast paced, I think, for the next few sites. But we've got the template now, and we can kind of not copy and paste it, but learn from what we've done and put that into other venues.
You can tell there's detail gone into it. It's little things like I'm looking at your t-shirt now and the logo. Like, it is really smart. Like, it's simple. It gets across the message. It's a bit like, I don't want to compare it to like Apple, but like you see one logo and you think one thing.
Yeah.
I've seen that logo so many times before I've met you on my stories, and it's everywhere inside the buildings.
Yeah.
And do you even have it on like the rackets as well?
We did, yeah. We had branded rackets.
Yeah.
Got it on all the glass inside.
So when people like pose with the rackets, the branding's in there. Like, it's just, I see that logo now, and I know, and in Sheffield, I know exactly what it is.
The branding was a massive part of it for us, and shout out to Ricky, who's done all the branding with us. He's been amazing, and it was a big thing. It's just something that's repeatable that we can put into other venues, and it's like you said, it's recognisable, and that's kind of one big thing.
With something you look into like repeat as well, the first one's always the most difficult, right? The first venue is the nuts and bolts, sussing it all out, the logistics of getting the courts in there, the suppliers, everything working out. Once you've done all that, you learn so much, and then that second one hopefully will be,
Yeah, so I've been at a site survey this morning for another site, and talking about the construction and the build and how's it going to work, and we've learned so much from probably mistakes if we made any, and contacts, and the network that we've built on top of what we already had prior to opening's immense, and we've got designers and consultants and stuff everywhere now reaching out to us, wanting to work with us, which is great. But I quite like, we used a lot of, pretty much all our construction was local suppliers, so through from the electricians, carpenters, floorers, all local, other than the courts that came from Barcelona. We're going to probably use the same contractors again because they know what they're doing now. They've done it once with us. It went well. It was on time, on budget. Yeah. So we kind of know what we're doing now, which is nice. So
And you're supporting local business. What's better than that?
A massive. Yeah, it really is. But in turn as well, they spread the word for us as well.
True.
Putting it on LinkedIn or telling the mates that, that business that you've seen on Instagram, we did the lights in there, or we built that bar, or it spreads the words organically as well, and it helps them being local.
Yeah.
This is where I get really naive now. I didn't really understand how much went into building a paddle court. You mentioned like carpenters. I'm like, what's going on here? Like stuff from Barcelona. Like, what does that build out process
look
like?
The courts are steel, mesh, and glass, and AstroTurf in the centre. They all came over as a package from Barcelona. But outside of that, we've got acoustic curtains around everywhere, carpet tiles between all the courts, but then also in the social area, as well as the furniture, we've got a bar, coffee bar, retail space, racking, all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot more than just building courts and getting people on them. So, new shop front doors and all that kind of stuff, the lighting, signage, branding, all sorts of stuff like that. So, there's a lot more than just the courts.
I can't let the words acoustic curtains go amiss.
I was just about to say, and I've just had a massive, massive light bulb moment. I've always wondered on the Joe Rogan podcast why he has curtains behind him. Oh. It must be acoustic curtains.
I see. How's that work? Is that just noise cancelling?
Paddle's quite loud, so when you make contact with the ball, it's like people refer to it as a gunshot in the media.
Right.
But we've got music playing the whole time as well on speakers around the venue. So you've got music, people shouting, coffee machine flying, people playing paddle. It's quite a noisy and stimulating space. So to counteract that, we put in acoustic curtains around the whole around the whole unit, which just soaks up all the noise. So it just it's another touch point that makes the facility above anyone else that'll open, hopefully. Yeah. And just. Yeah.
Have you heard the difference between the curtains being drawn and the curtains closed?
So when we ripped out the whole unit, and it was just a concrete slab with cladding walls around, I clapped and it just reverberated around, and it was just an echo. Okay. So I knew that we had to put them in. And thankfully, we'd already planned that because I'd done obviously a lot of research, visiting other venues, played indoors where there wasn't curtains and where there was, and you could just see that or hear that it was a massive difference, and it was worth that little investment into the curtains.
Yeah. Makes it look smart as well. It actually doesn't look like it's in a unit.
No.
Because the curtains are there. It looks like it's just could be anywhere. Could be any building.
It really does. That's the thing. It's well worth doing acoustically, but also aesthetically as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just thinking about neighbours as well. I imagine they appreciate that. I'm not too sure on the unit that you've got in terms of
great,
neighbours.
To be fair. Yeah, there's a house. There's only really one house that would be effective, and I was dead worried and reached out to them. And then the owner came over just before we opened. I thought, all right, this is going to be bad. And he came over and he said, "I love paddle. My son plays it all the time in Manchester. I can't wait to play. I'm so glad you've done it." And I thought, thank goodness for that.
Thank God he's on board.
So no, we've not had any issues. So
that's good.
Fine.
If he'd come down wagging his finger,
I was worried. Yeah,
I can give you a free membership, mate. If you want, like,
literally,
just send you some off cuts of.
He's missed the trick there. He should have come down wagging his finger and just with the intent of getting a free membership.
Brilliant. A lovely family, so they all come again, dad and kids, and they all love it, and they're dead nice. So.
I think that's credit to you as well, like the little touch that you've done there about I reached out to him before, and then you encouraged him to come in. Like I love that. I just think that's what business should be like. Think about it, a business is just a made up thing. It's just something that you lads just sat and had a pint and were like, we should do this, lads. Whereas actually you've made it come to life, and credit to you, man.
It's been amazing.
What's been the toll on you personally in this whole process?
I think now I'm all right. The first couple of months were really tough. So we built, the construction of the unit was about 6-7 weeks, and that was tough. Because obviously with the boot business, it was kind of autonomy. I could work it around anything, working from home a bit, and then the build was 6-7 weeks. That was tough, but I enjoyed that. I think that was really good fun. It was tough when you're in it, but then when you look back, you think that was really good fun. And then, because we were open from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m, the first month at least of opening, because obviously we've got new staff, which was the training up operationally, but also, responsibility of leaving. More for me, really, just letting go a bit was really tough. So I was there for the first month at least, 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. That was really tough for me and the kids and Emma as well, my wife. So that was quite tricky. But the lads joke that I need to get back to work and get back grafting again, which is it's good fun considering I'm still at the venue about 60 hours a week. But it was tough, but through it now, and you look back, it was only 4 months, so it's not been too bad. But it's only when you look back and you think, look what it's done, that bit of sacrifice, and there wasn't much of a sacrifice, but a bit of a grafting, and this is now what's come from it. It's all worth it. So,
what's your plan over the next kind of few years? Then, are you hoping to take a little bit of a step back, get someone into your spot, and have, I guess, almost be like more like an area manager rather than like
I think operation. I think. For the business, I need to be able to step back a bit because we don't ever want the business to rely on one person. I think the natural progression would be to have a general manager at each site, maybe someone that can look after events and commercial partnerships, someone take off the social media. It is kind of spinning plates at the moment with all things, but it's a business that's been open 4 months. We've got to be lean. I've got to know how everything works more than anyone at this stage. I think in 2 years, I think the plan is if we've got 5 venues, have a GM at each site, have the sites run themselves without my control, give autonomy to the general managers, and then I don't know if I see the need for having a head of marketing, a head of sales, a head of this. I don't think it needs it. But I think the plan is for me to kind of just become the umbrella and spin the plates and orchestrate everything. But I think I'll always just naturally want to be involved from day to day and every little degree of the business. But I don't think that would be healthy for the business or myself. So that's the plan, but we'll take it day by day.
Let's talk 5 to 10 years. Like how many courts would you like to open? Have you got kind of aspirations of going, obviously national, all major cities, anything international?
So the plan for the next year is to get 2 or 3 more open locally within an hour that are manageable. And then as we're at that stage is when we can go nationally. So say the next 2 or 3 are in Sheffield, Doncaster, Leeds, Rotherham within an hour. Then we'll look at your Newcastles, Liverpools, down south, Bath, wherever, Norwich, could be anywhere. And then in 3 or 4 years, it could be with Joe's presence, we can go Mumbai, New Zealand, Australia. We've spoken about that, and why not? There's markets all over. We're looking at South Yorkshire at the minute. That's such a small market compared to what it could be. So I think the plan is be sustainable and organic, but be aggressive with it as well. Why not open 2 or 3 a year? That's the plan, what we're wanting to do, and then take it internationally if we can.
I think knowing how long it takes to open one as well, like you know, with the 2-year wait for this current one, it's tricky, isn't it? Because you kind of have to be thinking, right, what are we doing now to put those plans in place for the next couple of years?
We've got one site guaranteed already. We've got 2 more in other cities that are down the line that we can be comfortable that we can commit to. But then in 6 months, they'll start to be opening, and then we're looking at, right, well, what's the next year's plan? Where are the next 2 sites? Where are the next 3? Where's the 2 after that and after that? So we've always got to be forward thinking. I think that's where I need to be able to take a step back from the day-to-day operations to allow the business to grow in the future, instead of be worrying about today and tomorrow and the next week's bookings. It needs to then step back and look strategically into the future and see how we can grow that way.
So go on, Brad.
I feel like we're really lucky, myself and Ryan, because we regularly sit with minds like yourself and these strategic brains, and we're trying to sort of piece together like where their ethos is, where the values lie, and a lot of commonalities I'm seeing now are speed. Like, you want to be quick, you want to do stuff quick, but you're also very aware of sustainability. And I just think walking that fine line is credit, and it's clear that if anyone can go and support anything that Alex and the lads are doing, like, please go and do it, because they're coming from the right place, in my opinion. I love that.
Yeah, there's a lot of ethics behind it. It's not just like you said, it's not just putting courts and, you know, taking money off people and here it is, do what you will with it kind of thing. It's that community aspect, and that's where you having a real vested interest. And I think, you know, maybe there was a little bit more of a push on that because it's where you grew up, right? And you know a lot of people. But I think knowing how well that's worked, you'd be silly not to do that with every single club and every single community now, and say, right, this has worked really well. We understand the community aspect. Is there ever like a hesitation that this might be a fad?
Yeah, I've heard that a lot, and I've been asked that a lot, and you've got to be aware of it, that it could be, but I just don't think it will. I think, yes, the demand's crazy at the moment and the supply's super low, but because the barrier to entry is so low, it is so addictive. People want to play once a week. They want it to be their new golf, their new tennis, their new cricket, their new football, where I've got mates, we're all early 30s, late 20s, and they're stopped playing Saturday football because they get injured or it's half a day out from the family, and they want to just have a couple of hours a week where they do their thing. It's quick, it works around their life, and people don't want to have gone are the days of you work 9 till 5, sit in the pub every night, and then at the weekend you go to football or golf all day and you don't see your family. Now it's you want that balance of friends, family. Everyone's got different elements to them, whether it's they're a son, they're a dad, they're a friend, they're a brother, they're everything. It's balancing everything, and that's where I'm not saying paddle's a solution, but it's a nice, short but sweet, and it's good for you. It's 500 calories every hour. It's only an hour out of your day. It can be something that can work around everyone's life. So I just don't see it being a fad. I think the risk is that supply outweighs the demand, but I think that's where the quality venues with the community, with the decent fit out, with the good staff, the nice coffee, the little touch points will stand the testament of time, and they'll be the ones that stay open when the quick, short but sweet venues that are just courts in a car park will close down.
I feel like you're just a great facilitator. Like, what a place to house, like you said, all those generational. You know, you could literally play paddle with your son and your granddad. Like, that's mad. That's mad to have that generational ability to do that. So have you got any serious questions to ask Alex before I lower the tone?
No, please lower straight away.
I'm curious about the algorithm, right? Because obviously me and Ryan have spoke about it at length, that we see paddle everywhere. And I've always said if there's a counter movement of people trying to poo-poo it, you sort of know it's got legs in a way. I want to know what your algorithm looks like, Alex. Like, what if you're on socials at the minute? Are you just absolutely peppered with paddle and football boots, or is there?
I've got that many Instagram accounts. I don't know. Just like a lot of dad stuff, a lot of paddle, a lot of golf, because I still like my golf. I don't play enough. I should. But yeah, I joke with people when they say, like, the first thing we always ask the staff and myself is, "Have you played before?" And when they say, "No, it's my first time," I says, "Oh, what have you been on YouTube then, learning the rules?" And they say, "Yeah." So, well, that's your algorithm knackered, because all they'll see now is adverts for paddle rackets, paddle balls, people playing paddle, and it does grab you. But it's good fun. You hear so many, my mates say it, they're like, oh yeah, well, I've been watching the highlights from the Premier Padel Tour, and I've been watching videos on YouTube from coaches and tips and tricks and stuff, and it is good, and people want to learn, but yeah, the algorithm does get a bit in a tangle with paddle.
I watched a crazy rally last week. It were like 2 minutes long. It were absolutely insane.
Some of the elites are like, they're very good, aren't they? Do you know what? My first exposure to paddle was through some of the podcasts that I listened to. Two of my favourite ones, Joe Rogan, like I mentioned, and the second one is Jason Manford, actually. I really like Jason Manford's podcast, and he's a big paddle player. He plays it over in Manchester, where he's from. And he was talking about this years ago, and I just assumed it was one of those things that, like, you know, men of a certain age start playing after a while. And then I just saw like these, you know, younger people, my generation, start to play it. People dabbling. I started seeing these competitions crop up on my algorithm, and I started watching them, going, "This is actually pretty cool and intense, and actually looks really fun." And then I think it was a guest on the Joe Rogan podcast was talking about one of these kind of like high end players and like actually how good they are compared to some of the average players. And he was just trying to quantify it in terms of like different standards, and he said, you know, it's a bit like me being closer to the average golfer than like Tiger Woods. Like these guys are the Tiger Woods. They're so much. They're like the 0.001%, and you know, they could beat anyone at any club. They're that good.
Unbelievable.
How are these guys? Are they played this their whole life? Have they come through from tennis? And how have they got so good in this sport?
So it's majority the Spanish, South Americans. So they've had it in Spain. It's massive. It's the most played amateur sport in Spain. And Portugal, it's huge. So they've been playing since they were kids. So that's where the UK will be 15, 20 years behind. So like the top 2 or 3 GB paddle players won't get into like the top 1,000 in the world. They're just a long way behind. But that's as the game evolves and as it grows in this country. So like Bristol has got like 4 or 5 12-court venues, like massive down there. London's really big. Manchester's going to be that way as well. But I think certainly for us, we want to grow the game absolutely with juniors. We do junior sessions every week, but it's just a community. It's a real recreational sport, and it's like I said, it's the kind of low end player that is the big market at the moment. But as it grows, you'll have these paddle centres that are dedicated for professional players, like the EIS in Sheffield. There'll be a centre that's the centre of the North for paddle development. But yeah, it's a few years behind catching up with them. I think they've just been playing that long for that many times.
Would you like to go down that route? Would you like to eventually establish yourself maybe in the North as like the elite place? Like, you know, we definitely have a grassroots element to our business, but if you want to be like the elite, we can facilitate that. We have a centre, a place where you can go, and we have, you know.
So we had the British Padel Coaching Association in this weekend, and I was speaking to the guy that runs that, and he was saying that we're the only place in the North that he hosts it. He thinks Sheffield could be massive. He had 18 people being trained this weekend to be a paddle coach, and there's only one venue around here, which is us. He says he does so many down in London, in the South, in Bristol, but there's nowhere that's kind of... The venue in Leeds is really smart. They've got 12 courts, which is brilliant, and they host a lot of like the paddle tours and Britain paddle tours. But I'd love to be able to have a venue that can host those kind of events. And I think the issue we've got at the moment is we just don't have enough courts to facilitate it. With 3 doubles and a singles court, there's just not enough space to host a big tournament like that.
12 courts, is that like the minimum? Is that?
I wouldn't say that many. I think so. We're going for like 7 or 8 now in our next couple of venues.
How many have you got now in Padel Sheffield?
3 doubles and a singles. So 14 people in total. Singles is really recreational. The professional game, it's only played in doubles. But we've put a singles court in because we're fully aware that not everyone's got 4 mates, but also couples. It's a great date night. And you can't really play singles on a doubles court. You can, but it's rubbish.
So can't wait to singles court.
It's amazing. It's so good.
I think she might tell me where to shove it. You're not trying to get sports into date night again, are you? Christ.
That court is literally from day one. We've never had a spare hour on that singles court. It's perfect. It's out of the way. It's the furthest court away from the social space, so no one can really watch. It's perfect to get in there. Like you said, with your partner, if they're maybe more nervous and they don't want to... They're nervous about being watched or doing something for the first time and being rubbish, then that's a safe space for them to go, and that's why we put it in, because that has grown the game massively for us. And we've said going forward we'll always try and get a singles court in every venue that we do it. We're the only one from Sunderland to London at the moment, singles court. So there's just nowhere to play, and we're seeing it super popular. So
yeah.
I can just imagine people just laying down picnic blanket, getting strawberries and chocolate out.
Get some foddy, half an hour paddle and half an hour.
We do it, and they come and have a glass of wine or prosecco and a beer after, and it's dead nice. It's lovely.
It's actually a great idea. That's
good, isn't it?
No, it is good.
Yeah,
I'm gonna pitch it to the missus. We joke, and I've told Brad recently. My missus hasn't listened to the podcast until recently, because I've told her that I've mentioned her a few times, so she's listened to more now.
There you go.
But she's not that into sports, shall we say, not that into gym. But I think hearing you talk about paddle and, like I said, the different levels and abilities, and how it is just a bit of a laugh as well, if you want it to be, I think she might like it.
Well, we do every Thursday at 11 we do a ladies' coffee and paddle morning, so we get 12 places on all the 3 doubles courts, 12 people. Everyone, you get a free coffee, so you turn up and put the 4 beginners on one, the 4 advanced on another, and then the 4 in the middle on the middle. And it's just a complete knock down the barrier, because a lot of ladies can be really nervous. So we come in, chill out, don't worry, you've got your rackets, we'll sort your balls and stuff, go and have a game, play for an hour, 10 minutes of being nervous, and then everyone realises actually we're all here just to have a laugh, and no one's watching. And then they arguably drink coffee at the end longer than they've played paddle for, but then they're all exchanging numbers, putting each other in the group chats, and that is growing the community. And Thursday is the best day for me, because you see that we do paddle and prosecco nights as well in a similar format, again ladies only, so it just breaks down that barrier. Again, it's a safe space. A big thing that we developed the site when we were thinking about the flow of the customer from the car park walking to the unit, how's it going to flow. We've put in like a staircase that's really well lit, we've changed the outsides, made it really welcoming. We always designed it was, how would your mum feel when you're walking in? That's genuinely how we designed the majority of the venue, was how would your mum feel. So we thought about, well, we don't want them walking down a driveway that's dark, so let's put in a new set of stairs, we'll put a load of new lighting in, make it look nice, and they can walk down, it's safe, it's comfortable. The staff are all, again, zero intimidation that we always talk about. It was always designed as how would your mum feel. That's how we always thought about the little touch points.
I've never heard anyone else use that. I don't think I've ever told you this. When I assess new PTs, I always use that. I'm like, would my mum feel comfortable? I've never heard anyone else use that before. So that's quite refreshing. Yeah.
Well, we've got the 2 coaches. We've got George and Esther. It was a big thing for us to get a female coach, because we're conscious that George is 25, he's awesome, great coach, lovely lad. But we're thinking some people might feel uncomfortable with it being a young male coach. So Esther, she's brilliant as well, amazing on court, really, really good coach, but a lovely person as well. All the staff throughout all the interview process, we had over 100 people apply for 4 roles for front of house team members, and I wasn't really bothered about if they can use an espresso machine, if they can play paddle, if they know anything about it. Was, if you've worked in hospitality, great, but it was always ranked on how nice of a person you were, and we just hired the 4 nicest people. So
did you interview all 100?
I had 15-minute phone conversation with 50 of them.
Wow.
And then met with about a dozen and hired 4.
Wow. Amazing.
So we've just had 2 more. We had a new Matty started last week, and then Nicole's joining us tomorrow as well. So we're just slowly expanding the team, again, to allow me to kind of step back a bit and not have to work any shifts front of house.
As the ex-general manager of a gym, I can vouch for how important that process is, and just for taking your time and getting it right.
And they've all genuinely all been incredible. And we're not wanting to word it like a carrot being dangled, but we've said from the office that we're wanting to grow, and we're going to be opening new venues, and we would love the original team to grow with us. It's not going to be always a front of house role for you. If you are with us from the start and you show that you're here to stay and you want to grow with us, you'll come with us, and they'll be managing the venues going forward potentially, and they will grow with us, and it's a career development as well, because I was in that position, an 18-year-old straight out of school and not knowing what to do, and I go into a 0-hour contract at a hospitality venue. There's no carrot there. It's almost like you're just a number, but with us it's massive about development, learning, giving responsibility, and then growing with us down the line as well. And they've all taken to it like a duck to water, and they're all awesome. So I couldn't be happier with them.
I think we all know how important those appointments are, though, as employers and as consumers, right? We've been into businesses where it's just not the service you wanted, and actually you're thinking, I don't want to spend my money here.
It can ruin it.
I really don't want to spend my money in this venue just because that one person on reception just didn't give me the value that I thought this was worth. On the flip side, you've all met people where you're like, business product wasn't great, but that person on reception was so nice that I'm just going to stay. I'm going to buy it anyway because they were so lovely. So it's a deal breaker for sure.
What we're really lucky with is that everyone that walks through the door is there to have fun. We don't really deal with complaints or people that are in a bad mood or people that are there to be frustrated. They're all there to have fun. So that helps. But whenever there has been any kind of resolution to be needed with a customer, the staff have just been amazing with it. And that comes from them being good people, having good morals, knowing how to deal with different people. And it's a massive thing for us as the staff, because we can have a beautiful venue with acoustic curtains and great courts and good coffee, but if the staff are poor and rude and not accommodating or happy to help, then it'll just fail. So they've been a huge part for us, and I try and tell them every day that thank you for the class.
And it's nice that as a business owner you want to do that, because I think not enough business owners do. I think not enough people who are the kind of steering the ship actually tell their staff how well they're doing and how appreciated and valued they are within the business.
It was a big thing for all the lads as well, because they're all aware of Joe obviously being a cricketer and Cam being a footballer, and all the five of us, obviously I was hands-on, but the other four lads are all down there, and certainly the first few weeks, every other day, they knew all the staff's names straight away. They made a real effort, and it was a conscious effort to make them feel valued, and they're aware of that, and the lads have all been great, and it was just a massive thing for us to have great staff that feel valued and show that they all grow with us as we grow as well.
Speaking of like conflicts and potential hazards with customers, what's been kind of the worst thing that's cropped up? Anything that you were like, oh, we should have done better there, or maybe a tricky situation with the customer?
To be fair, there's only one that stands out. We've not had, thankfully, hopefully, touch wood, it stays this way. Google reviews are great, but in terms of on the day, we've not really had any issues. The only thing that we have learned is that, say like 8 p.m. onwards, it does become predominantly male, the customer base.
Okay.
And we found that, like,
why is that?
I just don't know. I think it's probably your five-a-side customer base that play five-a-side, to go in the evening after work or whatever, and go with all the lads, and maybe they've had a drink, or I don't know. It's not. We don't obviously promote, the bar's totally ancillary. We don't have people drinking before they go on, but maybe the music got dialed up a little higher than it should do, and then that intuitively just raises people's voices, and then they get a bit giddy, and then they are shouting, and because they can't hear each other over the music, they are shouting, and then they might start swearing. And we had one guy came over and said, look, I've bought 3 mates here, they've driven from X, Y and Z, I'm hosting, we've played at their venues and I'm hosting this time, and the lads on the court next to us were just really rowdy, they were swearing a bit, and it just wasn't the kind of vibe that I wanted. And I thought, I totally agree with that. The other side of the coin is, I don't ever want to stop people having fun in their own way, but we want everyone to be respectful as well. So it was a conversation we had to have with both sides and say, look, apologise, we'll try not to let it happen again. So the music's now always at one volume all day. We've got a system in place that, we go over and actively speak to all the customers constantly. Whether it's saying, look, just be respectful, there's other people in here, let's try and all have fun, but do it in the right way. But other than that, we've not really had any complaints, so to speak. So.
That's just part of managing different teams of people as well, isn't it? And creating a vibe is very difficult. It's same in gyms sometimes. Like, you can open a gym and you can have this idea of what the kind of customer you want, the vibe you're going for, but based on the people that are coming to your gym, sometimes you don't always get a say in that. It's just
I think that's part of it, and that's the beautiful thing, is that we are open to anyone. That it's not, the price is consistent across the day. There's no like fluctuations in that. There's no members only. We can have literally any demographic, any age of person walk in, any background, and it's just now that we've been more conscious to manage that with the different type of people. You might have 4 lads that are really rowdy that come from a football fan's background, put them into that kind of category, next to 4 ladies over the age of 60 that are really quiet and come from a different area, and it's just managing those different types of people. But that's probably something that we need to learn and put into place. But just acknowledge as well that that's going to happen anywhere we open. There's going to be different types of people, different types of demographics and stuff. So
I guess when you've got more courts, you can also be quite savvy with where you put certain people as well. I guess with what you've got now, do they book certain courts out? So they book those online, or do you allocate the court based on...
They book the court online, so there's court 1, 2, 3 and 4, and they just pick the court.
So I guess you don't really get much say in that either, to be fair.
And I don't think I'd want to move people or make... I think it's just something that the way that us and the staff can react on the day and acknowledge and foresee something that this could happen. So let's have it in the back of our mind when they're playing. Let's keep an eye on that court, or keep an eye on the other court, and just acknowledge it more than anything. Because I think as a customer, if the venue has acknowledged it and have made an effort to help you, then I think they'll understand. And they were really understanding, these people, and they were really nice about it. But that's probably as bad as it's got so far. So
cool. And that's not too bad, I guess, is it?
No, I'll take that.
Degree, yeah.
And I think if you've got maybe kids coming in as well, to touch on that junior paddle,
massive,
it's a huge thing. Have you let your kids have a go? I know you said one's 4.
Billy's 4 and he's had a go at it, bless him.
What's the youngest age you have to be?
We do coaching from 5.
Okay.
5 to 10, and then 11 to 15 in the other category. So Ellie's 7.5. She's probably a bit more hand-eye coordinated than Billy, but it's just attention span as well, and we just want everyone to have a go. And the coaching sessions aren't drills and hitting and doing different types of shot, it's just having fun. But on the other side, it's not just picking up cones and running around. They are learning and developing the technique and different things like that. But yeah, especially at that age, anything under 10, it's more just having fun and getting them engaged and running around.
Awesome. Any other questions you had penciled on for Alex?
I always like to end with 3 words. So this is a little bit on the spot for you, Alex, so I appreciate that. It's linking it into, I suppose, your life as a parent so far. How would you describe your parenting experience in 3 words? This seems like the impossible question, where it's like, how do I condense this much chaos into 3 words?
Fun, patient, and I don't know. It's been a lot of fun. I've had to learn to be a lot more patient, and perspective. It puts so much into perspective. We had Ellie when we were 22, so we were quite young. And a lot of my friends are now starting to have kids and get married and all that kind of stage that we've done. And the one thing I'll always say is it puts everything into perspective. It teaches you and your partner to be a lot more patient with each other. You've got to put as much effort into your partner and yourself as you do to the children, because if you neglect yourself, then you're neglecting the kids, because you need to be in a good mental and physical state to look after them. I always say to my mates that starting to have kids is just at least have one night a week for you, but equally have one night a week for your partner to let them do their thing, because you're constantly... The big thing that I've realised, more for Emma especially, is that her identity as Emma has gone to a certain extent, and she's now just mum and work, and that's it. So the big thing is letting the mum do their thing, I think I've found, which is massive. But then also have time for yourself and do your 5-a-side football once a week, or go to the driving range, or go for a beer with your mates, or do the gym, or anything, just to give you a purpose outside of being work and dad all the time.
Fun's definitely the most common word that we've had, and I'd fully agree with that. It's such good fun. And I can't believe you didn't shoehorn in paddle in there as well. Like, if you're just taking some time for yourself, go and play some paddle.
Go and play paddle. It's like working in a chocolate shop though. When you're there all day, the last thing you want to do is stay and have another game. But no, I don't play enough. I probably play once a week, to be fair, which you'd think it'd be more, but I try and do once a week at least. But
amazing.
I'm actually really looking forward to getting down now. I've been saying for ages I'm going to get down, but I've not had the chance. So, but knowing that you do like this singles court, I'm going to have to convince the missus now. I really am, for sure. I'm hoping this is the one. Anything else you want to add on to this episode?
No, just to obviously thank you for your time, Alex. You. And if people want to reach out to yourself, the amazing team at Play Padel Sheffield, where can they find you?
www.playpaddlegroup.com, but more social media is Play Padel Sheffield. on most spaces. So yeah, drop us a message or a follow and keep an eye on everything that's going on.
And at the minute, the site is Abbeydale Road?
Abbeydale Road, opposite Door and Totley train station. We're in Abbeydale Tennis Club, so that's where you'll find us.
Fantastic.
Awesome. Alex,
Legends.
Thank you so much, man.
Cheers, bye.
Really good today.
Loved it.
Guys, thank you for joining us on the Fitcast Podcast. We'll see you in the next one.
See you soon.